We'll bring this meeting of the road committee to order, and we'll start off with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, we'll just jump right into our main business tonight is going to be to go two requests for Article 43 funding. The first one that came in was Lakeside Road Association. I did not get a chance to go out. It's near Lakeside Drive and Foley Road. I didn't look at it, but it's clear that they're doing riprap on the roadside stones and check dams, and they're reclaiming some asphalt. Any questions? I don't see anybody here from Lakeside.
Oh, no?
No. Lakeside has in the past gotten a few of these, and they do a really good job on their road. They're really conscientious. Any questions? Comments?
No, I did look at this when you first sent it, that was a while ago, and I didn't see anything that stood out.
Okay. So entertain a motion to accept the application and to move forward with it to the Board of Selectmen.
Make a motion that we accept this application and move forward to
Great.
bring it to the selectmen.
Do we have a second?
Second.
You seconded. And all those in favor? Oh, are there any questions on my motion? No? Seeing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving on to the second.
I did have a question.
Yes, sir.
For the funds, we're gonna leave that up to the board to
Right.
decide how they split that up.
So right now, there is $4,567.50 left in the Article 43 account. At this time, we could talk about how we want to split it up. I will tell you that if it doesn't, I don't know if it means anything, but Lakeside Drive did come in first. I think just throwing it out to consider, a fair way to do it would be that we recommend to the Board of Selectmen that they, if we approve the next one, that they split it.
Maybe it would be a question for Will, or one of us would have to go and look at the projects. Maybe one needs more attention than the other.
It's possible. I think in the past, we haven't looked at it as need. All applications are accepted as is, and we decide if it meets the statute.
Okay.
I don't know if we have ever thought about a needs base. I assume that both of the projects are needed. You think, yes?
Yeah, so you're right, we don't go on who's got a worse road than the next guy. We just do a baseline, and that way there we can manage the funds. We don't have a road commissioner look at any of these private road projects. Usually the liaisons go out, take a look at them. We keep the road commissioner on town roads only, so we don't get him mixed up in that whole thing. That doesn't usually bode well. So, myself, where we're coming to the end of this here, we knew there was gonna be a mad rush to who can get them in first, and I think Jay's right. I myself, as a select board member and liaison, I'm gonna recommend that we split them, but, we go on to the next one and see, what they, I do have a couple questions on both of these. I probably should have mentioned them before. The only thing I see, I just don't see a very good definition of exactly what's being done and where in either one of these, which is something there that I think when we move forward, maybe we should be asking for a little bit more information.
Okay, and great, thank you very much for the clarification on the road commissioner. Appreciate it.
I got a question. Is there, since you said we're coming to the end of the money, or we're coming to the end of the?
The money.
Okay, I knew we were coming to the end of the money. Is there any shot at finding other funds of undesignated, of surplus, just throwing it out there, where you could fund these two without a new meeting, and I'm just curious
Great.
if that's a
I probably should come, make everybody do it at my meeting.
It'd be nice to see how it's, when you do that, yes.
Come on up.
I didn't want to talk to them, well, you gotta do your own thing.
I had to say something.
So, we are talking about, scheduling a special town meeting, because we do have a project where that, we're gonna, we're purchasing a new skid steer for the transfer station. So, I do believe it's on our list. We wanted to see what was gonna happen tonight, and we also want to see how you guys are progressing, if you are at all, on what we talked about before, about possibly changing this up a little bit. But when we had talked at the last meeting, I was in favor of, putting some more money forward, what we think we might need, so we just don't have money lingering, but put something on ballot or a special town meeting. Not a ballot, I shouldn't have said that. I think we may put it on a ballot, be a special town meeting.
Right, that sounds good.
Right, and so, I think what he's saying, he would be looking for a stopgap, to just get us through a certain period, because at some point, I think the feeling is, we want this Article 43 to change into something completely different.
I think that probably right now, the best thing would be to do is say, okay, to get us into like July or June or whatever, just so that we can get to our town meeting.
Right.
And if we feel like allocating more money, we don't want to absorb a bunch of money into something just because. I think probably what we ought to do, is, what your committee should probably do, is kind of figure out roughly what they think might be needed in the next, probably not this winter so much, because winter's coming.
No, it's after
springtime, I'm
Right.
sure you'll probably need a certain allotment of money to get through.
Sure.
So at least get us to town meeting so we can continue on from there.
May I ask a question? I was under the impression, maybe incorrectly, that the Article 43 funding came from the state, so you might have to go back and ask them for more, no? Oh,
It
I
was
just
the
off base.
town, it was at an annual meeting that that's why it's called Article 43,
Okay.
came up, part of the budget, and it was approved.
Cool.
With that came, they funded it with $50,000. And obviously that has come almost to an end. And so talking about moving more money into it to get us through possibly till June, when something new can take its place.
Thanks for setting me straight. Would have been nice if the state was.
Oh, if the state,
That'd be
yeah,
nice.
right, yep, it would be really nice. Okay, so we're moving on to the Eagle Road Association, which you have in front of you. And we do have some folks from Eagle Road that can talk about the work and answer some questions. I think you might have some.
Yeah, with joint road commissioner.
Great. You both want to get up, or?
Sure, so, not to make excuses, but, do you want me to take the podium?
Yeah,
Sure, that's
be
fine.
easier. Yeah.
Not to make excuses, but as a road association, you know, members come and members go. And everybody gets along on the road, but all of a sudden, it's like a new process for us. So just filing the application, we weren't super clear on what we should be providing. But I can tell you this, that our road association about 5 years ago hired a consultant, engineer, to give us a report on prioritizing what should be done on the road. And that's what we've been adhering to in prioritizing our work. Naturally, if you get a really big storm and there's a washout, it's like, okay, well now that's priority 3 because this is priority 1. But we do understand that our main goals are to prevent or minimize erosion, keep the culverts clear to help prevent and minimize erosion. And we do a pretty good job at, you know, trying to keep the speed down on the road so that the wear and tear on the road is not excessive. And so we're mostly following the recommendations of that report, although a couple of the recommendations were just not within our economic wheelhouse. You know, like they recommended building a paved sluice along the road, and whether you think it's a great idea or not, we wouldn't be able to afford it. You know?
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so when we met with Mr. Stevens about doing the work for us, a couple of things is, we've had good work done by him in the past. He's been conscientious, he's used the right materials, the report calls specifically for, you know, optimum is 3/4 inch crushed stone, not pea stone or anything else. And then the report also calls for road grading using a real grader, which we'd like to do, and we're seeking pricing on that, but if we can't do it, then Mr. Stevens has got other equipment that, it isn't the kind of grader that puts the perfect crown in the road, but it's what we can afford. So, and we're not buying Starbucks coffee or anything with any of the money we collect, so, I don't know if you
I
have
mean,
any
I'm
questions.
thinking that $3,000 or whatever it is that's gonna end up is gonna go that far, so.
It'd be a big help,
It's a huge help.
Yeah.
It's huge.
yeah,
Right.
so.
Yeah, things are exploding in prices, and, yeah,
And
and the weather has been worse, and
Pat Stevens has been great. He also plows the road, which is good for us because, you know, you don't have any finger pointing. Well, the guy who plowed, I'm like, that took my crown off, you know, it's like, well, for the amount of money we're talking about spending, you know, it's a challenge to get a real detailed proposal. Because guy's busy doing the work, not writing proposals, you know? It's not like it's a $30,000 job, and he's gonna spend a half a day writing you up a report, so. But we shared our report with him that we got, and he knows what the priorities are, and that's where the money is being spent.
yeah.
Can you tell me what your name is?
I'm Matt Hurley.
Matt Hurley, okay.
Yeah, and my new address is 262 Eagle Road. I moved the log cabin there that was on Peacock Road. I don't know if you guys, somebody bought a nice place on Peacock Road, and the log cabin wasn't really what they were looking for. So instead of tearing it down, I moved it to the back lot of my camp, so. A lot of stuff you didn't need to know.
And you are?
But I'm a joint road commissioner. My name's Walter Lippincott. I live at 126 Eagle Road. And our main concern is to protect the lake from, you know, all the filling up with, I mean, it's getting shallower and shallower. I've only been here for 3 years, but I can see it where the streams go down. I can see I can see all the dirt and stuff going in the lake. Pat came along and he's got a compacting skid steer with a compactor, and he does really good quality work. We've changed a couple of culverts. There's a few more that need to be changed, and that's what we're kind of working toward. Because once the culverts fill up, then it washes the road right into the lake.
Right. Have you ever accessed help with the lake alliances that do,
AWA.
yeah, AWAR or?
Yeah, they do an annual survey.
Okay.
I've been to the meeting at the airplane hangar and spoke with the person that comes and does all the testing for the lake, and I've met with him. I met with him briefly this year, but I was at the one last year at the airplane hangar.
Have they done any projects for Eagle Road at all? I'm just curious.
They do cleanup projects, but they monitor, they take the depth, they monitor the microbiology.
Bacteria level?
Yeah, they do it at different depths.
Oh, okay.
They
Also
do it
water
different time of
program.
year. That's what, yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
And I think they have done some work on
Yeah, because that's
Eagle.
also really helpful.
They like to encourage
Controlling
people to
the
use
water.
mulch and gravel instead of planting lawns and putting fertilizer down, you know?
Right.
And they're really adamant, I'm sorry, they're really adamant about, see something, say something. If you see a new growth, they show you what to look for on these invasive plants.
Oh, sure.
And they're really good. They're really good.
Excellent, yeah.
I've had a place on Eagle Road now for 28 years. It's the best decision I made in my whole life. And yesterday, I had right in front of my camp 9 loons. I think that's pretty awesome, you know?
Wow.
9 loons, just singing and talking. Pretty
Getting
nice.
ready
That
to
is
go
awesome.
out to
And
the.
that-
I think I saw a picture of that on Facebook.
Then the kingfisher came by and gave me the raspberry.
Mhm.
That's fun too.
I have a video of an eagle landing in the wintertime. Well, actually, I have him taking off. He was on the ice, and I got a video of it. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
It's got him flapping away. I lost him as he was going, but he had a fish or something. I don't know how he got through the ice. Really, it's a beautiful spot all year round.
It is. So I think I have a couple questions. So there really wasn't a real good description of what you're actually doing here. I mean, I can see you're going to replace 3 culverts. Typically, we'll have more information on, what size they are, how big they are.
The length and width and diameter
Yeah.
and location.
It's good if you could get as much information on it. It is incumbent for us to go and check it also, and we typically like to see it before and after, but we don't always get to do that. So I think, I think we all see the project. I think we just need a little bit, and I think the selectmen will need a little bit more description of what the work is.
And
What we'd be looking for is, like it says 3/4 crushed stone.
Locally sourced.
Yeah, okay, how many yards? Roughly, between pole 10 and 20. Says three culverts, okay, I think 15-inch, 18-inch lengths, that way there, when we go out, because usually the liaison and the chair will go out and inspect it to make sure that it was done to what, we can't inspect something we don't know what they're doing,
okay.
so.
Would you need that before you recommended it to the selectmen?
We could,
I think it's fair that you're asking for it, and I'm gonna get it.
yeah, no, we could make the recommendation pending adequate information that the selectmen have the last say on this. Anyway, ours is just purely recommendation, and they can do whatever they do.
And should I get that information to this board or to Jennifer?
Jennifer, just like you with your application, and then Jennifer gets it all to the right people.
Okay.
The next select board meeting is tomorrow, but
When do you plan on doing the project?
This year for the washout road, and
But you plan on starting this week or next week, or?
I'd have to check with Pat, but I can get pictures of the washed out road and all, what we plan on doing. culvert that's.
Pretty much, yeah, if you give us a picture of the wash, that'll be fine, but just give us an itemized, so many feet of culvert, so many feet of gravel, and this such and such area, and a description. So, as you look at it, it'll say road grade. Well, typically, we don't pay for road grade unless it's screwing up the road, doing the work, you have to regrade it. So you put out regrading of road due to, work that's being done, something like that. So, because if you go by this here, we wouldn't accept it because it's saying road grade. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Okay.
because what we're doing, what Article 43 does is for mitigating issues, okay, not maintenance. Okay, because the way the statute reads, it's for mitigation, DEP, erosion issues, not maintenance.
Gotcha.
So just give us an itemized list of what you're doing and what the project consists of, and we'll be fine with it. Just get that to Jennifer, as soon as possible, and we'll get it okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But first, we would have to make that motion to accept the application from Eagle Road Association and pending further breakdown of the work to be done. We could accept that.
Is there a minimum standard width for class 5 or 6 road or whatever, whatever class that their road is, that those culverts would have to be a minimum length?
That's a great question. I don't.
Being a private road, it's an established private road, there's no standard. The only time there would be a standard if you were trying to get the town to, say if you were building a new road for a road frontage.
And they were gonna have the road approved for town use, then,
Well, yeah, if it's town use, you'd be going to A or B, or an A, it'd be an A. Okay, but if you're talking C or anything like that, it's pretty much just a private way.
but for a private road, doesn't matter?
No,
Okay, all right.
But we can make recommendations based on good practices, right? We know what the state would require or the town would require. And even though it's not, we don't want to see people put undersized culverts in or.
Well, that was basically why I asked that question, because, yeah. But I mean, if the culverts that are existing haven't been washed out or overflowed, then you're probably gonna be okay with.
typically when you replace culverts, if you can replace the culvert upsize, and we do,
Size, exactly.
you always do that. If you run a
Yeah,
small,
we
you run the
are.
same size, you say if you pull out a 15-inch corrugated steel, you put a 15-inch smooth bore, you're increasing your volume, that's scaling up. So typically the contractor that's doing the work should know that, and should be able to tell you whether or not that's something you can do.
Recent history have shown that downpours, when we have them, are incredibly more than they used to be. So keep that in mind. If you have a culvert, and I'm not an expert, but if you had a culvert that is close to the top when we have a big rainstorm, then you might want to upsize it a few inches or so, yeah.
And if it's washing out, it's washing out for a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So it may need a bigger one or two of them. But, yeah. So do we have that motion?
I make a motion that we accept their application that's pending for some more information.
And make the recommendation to support.
Make the recommendations to support what we've asked for information.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thanks for the direction, we appreciate it.
We appreciate
We'll
all
get
that
some
you're doing.
information to you.
Sure.
Keep up the good work.
And thanks.
Open up those culverts before the rain on, what is it, Thursday? It'll be a good test.
Are we getting a lot of rain?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Inch and a half.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I heard a half inch, I was wondering what you're getting excited about.
Inch and a half is a little bit more, yeah. Be interesting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, to further the conversation that you brought up, Dave, I have been talking with the lake associations. Haven't talked to all of them yet. So far, I've gotten really good response. I think I have a couple more. There's some that we're still trying to figure out if they actually have private roads attached to them, like Square Pond. I'm not sure if they do. They do? Okay. Must be a really small section of something, right?
Yeah, I got Stonewall Drive, you got a couple right at the beginning, right there at the
Okay.
right.
Because I spoke to the president of that association and he was unsure himself. So we still have a little bit more to go, and then I think we could bring them all together and come up with a process and a way to move the money over. And we could stop the Article 43 as it is currently written, and it would be replaced by another article.
Yeah, you dissolve one and create a new one. Well, actually, you wouldn't have to create a new one. Okay,
Come up.
you don't have to create a new one because we're already doing it.
Okay.
Because what we're doing now is, why I come up with this idea was, we're already giving money to the Great East Lake Association, Bulge Lake Association, Melson Lake, stuff like that already. So what my idea was to say, okay, you got all these private roads around these lakes, everybody's worried about the lakes, well, these lake associations should be worried about the lakes, to untie some of this money and get it so that it can get out to more people than just a certain amount of roads, then let the lake association, ask for so much a year, okay, like we're doing, I think it's $3,000 a year. It's three, I can't remember.
It
It's
is.
3 or
It is.
6,000 for Great East or something like that.
I think it went
Okay.
down to,
We take it, we did a little adjustment to it, but, you take Great East Lake and go all those roads around it, well, very few of them qualify for the Article 43 because of the state statutes and what you're allowed to do. But if the money is given to a lake association where it's gonna be used on multiple roads and DEP issues, that's on them. And I think more people, it would be more useful that way. But we're already doing it, so you don't have to create another, you just have to dissolve the other one.
okay.
So you think there might be some more chance of mishandling of funds though with given to a lake association
So-
where one road might get favors over another road?
Well, that's happening now. So, but, no, I don't believe, because I believe when we talked about it last time, we were gonna have every year give us a description where the money was used.
Yeah, and we could closely monitor it, we could even make it that when a proposal comes in, it goes to us to look at, not to approve.
For the warrant article for the charities, it's pretty much on the charities articles. That's what it is, because we put the lake associations that we're giving to now on the charities. So, definitely we would want a description, every year when we go to warrant finance, they're gonna want that, okay, where'd our money go? A lot of the charities, we don't do that, but I think in this case, it would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Because we don't have like York County Community Action or anything like that, tell us exactly where that money went. But I think in this case here, it would be beneficial for us. And it would be better anyways, because at the end of the day, the more money you spend out there, which is great, because it's gonna impact more people. 'Cause right now, if you look at the list, you see that list right there?
Yeah.
Okay, count out how many roads on that list are different, okay?
Right.
How many roads are different? You're gonna get Lakeside, you're gonna get the same ones over and over and over.
yeah.
And by doing it this way here, people, they got these little, like that one, I think it's, let me see that real quick here. Wilkins, right here, okay? At the end of the day, that road didn't even qualify. It probably wouldn't have qualified. I think we approved it, and then we got into it, it's like, it's kind of gray area here, because they were road grade and this and that. That road would qualify through that road association, but won't through us.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, So.
I'm surprised there's not a lot more roads on this list.
Well, so, the problem is because of the way the statute works with the state and everything else,
qualify?
well, because the problem is, if you've got a road like Wilkins, I think it's got 3 people on it, 3 roads, 3 houses, okay? And you've got statutory road associations, all these qualifications, plus you take Bulge Lake. Bulge Lake doesn't qualify through our Article 43, because at that time they didn't have a lake study, okay? So one of our, you know, there's a bunch of properties on Bulge Lake, and there's a bunch of issues up there, but we can't give them money because of the way that the statute reads. So it's like, okay, well, that ain't no good, so then you just wiped off that whole bunch of people that you can't help. But not crapping on any of the roads that get the money, good for them.
Right.
But it's not helping anybody
It
else.
needs to be more broad, I think.
Yeah,
And
because
even
you,
if it wasn't just for the, what do we call this? It's for the protection of the lakes, Great Pond.
great point.
Instead of just that focus area, couldn't it also be for fire and police protection?
Well, no, so we don't want to bring that up, because that turns into another whole, you know, that's opening up a beehive. The police and fire, the state still regulates what we can do, okay, spending money on private roads. You can do work on a private road, but that's only in emergency cases, meaning you can't get out or we can't get in.
Right.
Okay, so that's only that there. The Article 43 was established for environmental
Right.
impact.
Exactly.
That's how it was able to be put through. And by doing it the way that I proposed to you guys, whatever, that we discussed, I think it broadens it up. You know, you take some of these roads like up on Anderson Cove, okay, you got little roads that come off. Well, if those roads ain't part of the road association, they get nothing. Okay, this here, everybody does. You know, but they're gonna have to go through their lake association, they're gonna have to apply. And, you know, obviously at the end of it, you know, the first year is gonna be a trial run.
Yeah.
You know, and if it doesn't work, well, then we go back to try something different. But I honestly believe that all these lake associations, they're doing their jobs, which they typically do. Will jump all over this because this is more money than they can put out for projects like that. And that's what they should be doing in the first place anyways. So,
Yeah, somebody from town of Acton or from one of our, the board will have to monitor, verify that that money is spent where they say it somehow.
no,
It has to be an accounting.
Yeah, I mean,
the lake associations will, I believe, once a year, what I would ask for, because I mean, we don't want to be chasing this around, okay? We're trying to make this easier, not harder. So I think once a year, the lake association can give us a layout of this money was spent on this road, this road, this road, for this project, this project, this project, once a year when they send in for their funds, okay? And I don't believe a lake association, say we use Grady's, I don't believe Grady's Lake Association would be crazy enough to spend that money on something it shouldn't, okay? Say we give them $6,000, okay? And they come to us during our finance committee meetings and our selectmen, they pass it for the warrant article, like all the other charities do, and say, okay, we're gonna increase, you get $3,000 now, we'd like to have $4,500 extra, so you're talking $7,500. That $4,500 is gonna go towards road work, da-da-da-da-da-da. And we're great, you know, send us a thing next year showing where you spent the money. They're gonna do that because if they don't do that, they'll probably lose all the money.
well, I think, yeah, if they send us a copy of a receipt from a contractor, you know, something that's legit, not just a hand scratched, you know, receipt.
You know,
And a couple photos of, you know, the culverts or the road that was graded, at least we see they did the work they said they did. Otherwise, you just going on their word unless we walk out there.
We're kind of doing that now, other than when Jay and I go and look at it, but for a while there, that's pretty much what we were doing. They'd send a thing in, they need $3,000, like, yeah, write them a check, see you later, hope it got done.
Yeah,
And, you know, and also, you know, too, is who's qualified to look at it, you know, I mean, you know, few people, you know, that can go do that. But, I think it just takes the handcuffs off a little bit and lets them go over and spend it now.
I think your idea is good if it helps more people in town.
Oh, no, it's gonna take that list and make pages.
And potentially, potentially you could put more into a bigger project than the 3,000. And it would not have, you're not gonna put in like 50,000 and cap it. It's, because it's gonna come up every single budget, in every single budget, you're gonna be voting on giving money to the Lake Association.
Yeah, it's not gonna be one lump sum, so what it's gonna do is it's gonna read, just like in the charities that we've got now, okay? Great East, Mousom, Square Pond.
So would there be a separate road fund for charity organizations?
There,
No, well, they're gonna have to do that on their own. I don't think the town wants to do the accounting for them.
Because I think the more money you put in the fund, the more people, once they hear about it, are gonna step up and say, hey, we want a piece of the pie, so.
Exactly, so what happens there is this, okay? So that, we're gonna need those lake associations to come to us and ask for money, okay? And
Okay.
say they want $10,000, okay? Hope it's less than that.
You're talking about the association.
The association's gonna come to us, what did I say, road association?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Lake
think,
association, okay?
do you think it would be a good idea for them, when they come to us and ask for money, to give us some proof of what they spent, say, in the last 3 years?
well,
Well,
they
no,
don't necessarily have it. The road associations.
Unless they're new.
The road associations are gonna be the ultimately getting the money, not, it's the lake association.
Right, but the lake association will give it to them.
Right, so it's up to the road associations.
Well, yes and no, Jay. You're gonna have the road associations, plus everybody that's on the lake that has a road on the lake should be being able to get this money. Okay, that's what it's gonna end up doing. It's gonna take anything with DEP, all that stuff, they should be able to allocate that.
So if I was gonna put a culvert, or replace a culvert under my driveway,
Well, you know, at the end of the day, as long as it's, something they, you know,
Right.
mitigating an issue, right?
wow,
If
okay.
it's washing.
I mean, if your water goes directly to the lake without a buffer zone, I would say
You know,
that
I mean, at the
would
end of the
probably
day,
qualify.
The lake associations are gonna have to distribute this money for projects that obviously are causing issues with the lake. Now, we give money now to them for doing mitigation for, plants, invasive plants and all that, stuff like that. You know, then we may have to twist it a little bit, kinda like they did with Article 43 and say this is gonna be stuff to do with DEP. You
Yeah,
know, and that's what you really legally have to do.
right, that's the whole purpose of this.
Yes.
Is to mitigate any runoff
Yes.
and degradation to the lake.
We don't wanna make it look like a maintenance plan, because we, you know, you and I have argued about maintenance plan a
Yep.
couple times,
Uh-huh.
but we wanna make sure that the public doesn't think this is just a maintenance plan.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
This is going to the Lake Association to mitigate issues just like Article 43 would, except it's a broader bunch of people that are, you know, be able to apply for
But
it.
I will say, you have a different vision of what I was originally thinking, because I thought that the road committees of each road.
Association meeting.
Or the association, it could be a committee, because if they don't have a valid association, they could still have a committee, right?
Well, you know, the difference is they can still have a road, so by state law, anybody, you got more than 2 houses on per road, is supposed to have a road association anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, but the way your road association's set up doesn't meet what it does now.
Uh-huh.
Well, you don't.
And it does, so we're gonna make sure that it does. But you're thinking that the lake associations can give it to entities other than the road association.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about, because that's what we're doing now with the money that we're sending to them, you know, they're doing certain things with it. You know, to protect private property.
Right, but an individual is not.
What's that?
An individual isn't. You're doing the road work collectively. But
Yes.
that was my question is, if I'm replacing on my property, which is not the road.
Yeah.
But it's at the beginning of the road, when your
Well,
driveway
it
comes
could be-
out, it comes
could be
out.
a
onto
long
the road.
driveway and it's, in the
As
middle.
long as, I still think we still have to have it, laid out kind of like what we have here.
Yeah, okay,
Tell these lake associations that this has to be mitigating,
Yeah,
and, they're responsible to make sure that that qualifies.
right, I don't mean to imply that we would be paying for somebody's culvert.
Yeah,
But, so it meets everything, but it's not going, it's gonna go to a person. That is different than what happens now.
yes, I guess, I get what you're saying. It can go to an individual that lives on a road, okay? That had, say they replaced 3 culverts because they were washed out and it was running in the lake. If it's off the side road of, say Joe's Road. Okay, Joe's Road wasn't part of Lakeside, they're kind of out of luck, right?
Right.
But Great East Lake Association should be able to pay to have those culverts put in.
Yeah, I'm even more excited about it because that could open up a lot more.
That's why I say that list will get a lot bigger. It's gonna help out a lot more people than the 5 or 6 that it's helping now.
Yep,
Because when this was put through back in the day, one thing that really irritated me was, it was pushed through that it was gonna help 100 roads. And all these roads, and then when it came down to it, it didn't. It didn't help out anybody except a certain few roads. And I honestly believe the town of Acton wouldn't have an issue paying more money, because we hear all the time, the people on the lake pay all the taxes. Well, we can distribute it this way. And legally, I believe legally we can do that as long as it deals with DEP. Now, we're gonna have to write it up right to make sure that it still goes by the state statutes, just in case they have to, okay? We don't wanna look like we're dumping money out and say, do whatever you want with it. We still have to have a criteria
Right.
that this is going to be.
Yeah, because, I could see, I see what you're trying to project here, and I think it's, overall, it's gonna be great, it would be great, but I also I'm thinking that you're gonna have a couple individuals here or there that they may be on the end of a private road, and basically they've had a muddy pothole driveway for 20 years, gonna have a brand new crushed stone driveway put in by the town, just because they say when it rains, it runs in the lake.
Town's not doing any of it.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm with these
Getting the money,
funds.
getting
Well,
the money,
Like we were,
potentially.
just like we were talking.
I mean, it's gonna
You may have to, maybe what we'll have to do is put some criteria that DEP has to come out, take a look at, kind of like what we make them do now.
Right,
That
but
they
it
have to
doesn't
have.
have to be a
Impact
watershed
zone.
study,
Yeah,
Right.
right?
yeah,
Like
an
now.
impact zone, they do have hot spots and this and that, but that's what the Lake Association, and have them keep records of what they do work, and, somebody comes up and says, hey, you know what, I live on this road, I've asked this association, this Lake Association, and they won't do nothing for me, and I've had DEP down there, and they say this has gotta be done, well, you know what?
Yep, let's
You
do
make
it.
a phone call, or next time they come in and say, hey, we need more money, well, this is the complaint we had, da-da-da-da-da. I understand where you're going there, but
I mean, I could see the opposite where, say, somebody's driveway, the private road just is dumping water right on their driveway, and then it's going in the lake, but their driveway is wiped out. I could see then where that's one individual case where a private property driveway right away, whatever, would need to be repaired and upgraded, along with the problem from the private road.
well, yeah, a lot of
So-
times you gotta solve one issue to solve another.
Right, but that's right.
You know what you're doing, Bill? You're thinking too hard. Because at the end of the day, you gotta worry, whenever you give money to any organization, we give money to the Red Cross every year, okay? Which is great and all that, but where's most of their money go? We don't know, okay? But this here, I think we can dictate where that money goes by giving them stipulations, okay?
Right.
And honestly, I don't believe there's a lake association out there that would wanna break those stipulations.
Yeah.
Because right now, if they're getting money, and they break those stipulations, there's a chance they won't get any more money at all. Okay, so that gives you a really good reason to stick by the rules, we just gotta make them.
I think, yeah, with some kind of guidelines, it could work out.
You got AWA or, York County soils and all that can also assist them, because, you take AWA or York counties, we could put that as a stipulation saying one of those organizations had to have come in here and approved this. Okay, that's how you get rid of the issue that you're talking about. As long as there's some sort of, something to look back on and prove that it's legit. So.
Right, that's my biggest concern, as long as we're gonna have a solid record of how that money was spent. And then that makes it easier for us to go to, the board and say, hey, we wanna have more money in our road funds,
Yeah, and honestly too, at the end of the day, I believe the money will get spent. Because, I've got a motto, back when I was road commissioner, I always said if I didn't spend my money, I shouldn't get no more. And these lake associations are, starting to put up all this money and they're not spending it where they should be, then we shut them down, we wanna make this work.
But I think you'll find, there's two things I think about where I think you find that you won't necessarily have to be quite so strict in your regulations, because if you've got the road association, this committee, the statutory road associations, or the lake association, and then the road association itself, you've got the selectmen they've got to go through, you've got this group, they've got to
Yeah, but they're only doing that once a year.
So,
Right, but I think that if somebody's gotta look at it
Right.
before the money gets allocated, I think you're gonna have a great, way of regulating and keeping the things that could go wrong
Right.
at bay. The other thing is, I think that it might be really helpful, because some of these, I'm not sure if I haven't been on the road association committee, road committee for decades, I think, because I was on the original one that started up. And I don't know, but there's probably some washouts and problems that are on private roads of groups of people that aren't organized, like they're not a road
Right.
association, and their water is flowing in and ruining the lake, and so that maybe could be handled as well.
Well, and
Without
some of those people, are they actually associated with their lake association?
Don't know. It's hard to know.
Are they required to be members of the lake association?
in the new form, they wouldn't have to be part of it, but.
Right. I mean, the ultimate goal is we're gonna try and protect
The ultimate goal
the
is to
lakes and waterways,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
That's all this is about.
Right.
Because that's all Article 43 was supposed to be.
Right, absolutely.
And
so if somebody comes that's not in an association, not part of the lake association, and they come and they describe a huge problem.
To the lake
of-
association.
To the lake,
Yeah.
I
then
would think
they
it
should
would
be
be
able to help.
beneficial to them to be part of their lake association.
Well,
kind of
I
thing.
know.
And,
Or we could give the money to the corresponding lake association and say, if you want to do these repairs, we're all for it, but you go to the lake association.
well, no, that's what we're doing anyways.
Right.
What what we propose here is
We will-
money goes to the lake associations.
Yeah.
They take care of it.
And we won't be looking at applications.
All the application, okay? I'm trying to get all the bull out of the
Well,
ground.
the applications we'll see will be the lake associations each year, I guess.
We'll see the annual report that we're gonna request, yes.
So in theory, what we're proposing is, once a year, these lake associations are gonna come before you, the finance committee, and the select board. Probably at one meeting or whatever, we'll figure it out, okay? And so they're gonna ask money just like all the charities do now. They'll have, everybody that comes in or sends in, we're gonna have the lake association to come in. That's one thing I think we're gonna make that should be a priority. And they're gonna ask for how much funds they
They
need.
have to do it individually.
Yep, individually, because it'd be just like any other charity, individually ask for someone, we're gonna give them stipulations on this money, and then the following year, they're gonna come in, they should show us where the money went, okay, why they need more, and then we do this whole process again. But we let
What if
them,
they didn't spend it all, are they just gonna carry it over?
well, they better have a really good reason why, because if they don't get any more. That's my eyes. In my eyes, I don't
So
wanna.
what they're asking for, they have a plan to spend.
Well, yeah, you know, it's like, okay, we look on that list you've got right there, okay? You could go down through that list and make a pretty good average of what, you know, what roads, because there's only so many of them, how much they use every year.
Right.
Okay, you could wing that pretty quick, so you know, there's a couple of roads in there, what do we get, we're around $3,000 a year, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, you know, you can make a pretty good, your first year's gonna be tough, because
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be kind of sporadic, or maybe they'll be all at once, who knows, you know? But by doing this, it takes it all out of our hand on the decision making of where the money goes. If that project's a little bit more, they get a little bit more, okay? That gives, like we were talking before, if the project is bigger, who gets the most money out of it, you know? You pick out your trouble spots, obviously hit the biggest one first, you know? And that'll be up to the Lake Association themselves. So you'll literally meet with them once a year.
And so every lake association will be getting a different amount based on the amount of roads they have.
So what would happen if, say, emergency comes up, we have a bunch of storms, the Lake Association already has their projects, but other roads get washed out and need immediate attention, then how would that
You're
work
going in the
for
twilight
us?
zone on me, Bill.
Yep.
You know?
Well, because road associations, if they have a road association that's formal, or even informal, or statutory, or whatever, they usually have to have a meeting, and they collect money from all the properties. They should have some funds in their coffers for normal.
It would be the same thing that happens today. If that happened, we don't do anything, right?
Well, we're not allowed to. We are. We, last year, I think everybody knows that, Huzzy Hill Road, completely gone. Nobody can get in and out. Little old lady up top of the hill may have to go to the hospital at some point, so, we did instruct our road commissioner to go and make it passable. And we do that because by law, we're allowed to do it at that point, because
Fire and police.
fire and police, but we're not allowed to maintain.
Do we get some, can we get some emergency funds from the state at that point for something like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it would come from the state anyways, it always comes from the federal government, comes from FEMA. Well, when I say that,
Right.
I'm wrong, I'm right or I'm wrong. The money's allocated from the federal government to the state, then to us, okay, so it's coming from the federal government. So, yes and no. What we do during a massive event, say your road's all washed out and stuff, that's when FEMA comes rolling in, and they'll give a cost of, you know, da-da-da-da, we need $100,000, da-da-da-da, they'll tell you. They get all these solutions or whatever. You go all there and show them all the damage, and they'll allocate monies to what they think it is. But that comes to us. But when it comes to the private roads, we can't go out on private roads and get federal funds, because we're not allowed to work on those roads.
Right.
Okay, so that, we can only get federal funds on our roads that, you know, we're allowed to work on. So the big thing is here is this. We're not allowed to work on private roads. We can't spend public funds on private roads. So the Article 43 allows work to be done on those private roads due to DEP issues such as, you know, whatever, to mitigate, okay? What we're proposing here is a plan to take the lake association and do your role and our role. We just grant them the money, but they're gonna have to have some sort of stipulations to make sure that it gets done. Simple. Once a year, we'll have a meeting with them, and then we vote on it in the town meeting. At town meeting, say, such and such lake association did not spend their money. This is in 2 years now, okay? such and such money did not get spent on any work, da, 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 then you vote at town meeting to, well, we'll do it before that, believe me. The select board will do it, you know, and you guys should do it too, and make a recommendation not to, you know, put funds forward until such funds are spent.
Yeah, that would happen once.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if would we have authority to ask for it back?
No, we
No,
can't.
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
because the way it's donations.
Okay, all right.
We never ask for monies back, you know?
Well, the way he says it, that,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
donations.
okay.
So, but you don't donate to a cause that ain't spending the money.
If they're not gonna use it, right?
If
Sure.
we spend $1,000 a year on the Red Cross, if we knew the money wasn't going to somebody who had a burnt out house, it was going in somebody's pocket, we'd not give them any more money. So,
Yeah, so if the Lake Association runs out of money, that's it until the next round.
yes.
You can't go back to the town and allocate more money to the,
No, no. We wouldn't be able by law anyways.
yeah, and I don't think you do
Unless
it.
it was catastrophic and then FEMA comes into play and there might be
Yeah.
some way of,
No,
no?
the town, we may be able to, don't hold me to this, I know I'm on TV. Okay, I say stuff I'm not supposed to, but I'm sure if the town had to go in and say, what road can I use? We'll use Winchell Lane, okay? Okay. And it flooded out, it was unpassable, and,
Right.
you know, there was a little old lady at the top of the hill that needed an ambulance get in, so the road commissioners had to come in and dump, you know, 12 loads of gravel in, this and that. I'm sure there's probably a way we could get it back through FEMA, but I'm not sure whether or not it'll fly or not. I wouldn't bet on it.
There is a lot of state and federal monies that can be acquired just if you ask. My wife used to do some grants for companies that was doing funding for city sanitation, sewer, you know, disposal, you know,
Stuff like that.
water treatment. And she was in charge for projects that the company was handling, getting grant money so that they could go and do the work for the.
Yeah, for municipality work, yeah.
Right.
You know, if we were looking at doing a road project, I'm sure we could, but we can only concentrate on the roads that we're allowed to work on.
Right, but I think there's government monies that.
Yeah, they call it 319 grants.
People in need can get that money if it's, you know, for benefit of the good of the community. You know.
Typically, the town of Acton will take care of an issue if it needs be. Nobody, we're not gonna leave anybody in a situation where an ambulance can't get in. But the problem is some people take it as if, oh, this is the way we get a road maintained. So, it's
Well,
only,
mitigation is different than maintenance, like you said. So,
I think this is a good way to roll. I appreciate you guys looking into this, and,
So how do we do this from now on? Had, like I say, the initial conversations with the lake associations, got a couple more to do. Then do you want to work with you or the board of selectmen to come up with some,
stipulations.
yeah, some written, 'cause
Guidelines or stipulation guidelines.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really easy. Make it plain and simple that, this money is to be donated to such and such a lake association with the intent to, mitigate, you know,
Runoff, protect water quality of nearby waterways and lakes.
and is to be, observed by, what do I say? You know, we have that DEP or York County Soils or
Yeah,
AO
you
or
got
some
that.
sort of.
Who's our town lawyer?
Same thing that we got here.
Come up with some good.
Yes, we're not-
the selectmen will take care of that part.
Yeah,
But
pretty much all.
just so we get the full outline of where we're trying to go with it.
Yep.
And then we could continue to work on fine tuning the language.
Yeah, I mean, just getting the, kind of in a box of exactly what we're gonna do.
You know, suggested uses, for grading, for culverts, grading.
I don't even want even to get into that.
No? Okay.
No, because, it is to mitigate the issue.
And for a way to bridge to prevent stormwater runoff pollution from reaching the Great Pond.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And as long as there's some sort of association, like, I believe it's in that already, you know, that you have to have somebody, I think we have DEP, right? Is it DEP?
DEP.
Is it?
It's, it can
Or
be any.
a licensed environmental.
Oh, wow.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that way there, you know, you do something, AWOL, or county soil, DEP, or just right that way there. You can take a part of that,
And move it to the town, to the associations.
and you can just get rid of the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, you know, it just basically substituting the lake association for the road association. Basically.
Substitute road association to lake association.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Just about.
Yeah,
And, but we can tweak that, and I'll work with you guys on that.
okay, great.
And, okay?
And why do we do your special town meeting, do you know when it is?
Well, we will know shortly.
Okay,
We had a couple things there, we got multiple things that we may be putting on that list. So what I would do is,
we could take a couple, like 4 months and figure out what we have been spending and then ask for that.
Curry Sell, I
To get
guess.
us till,
Get an average of
Right.
what we've done
Yeah,
each year.
every spring, it's usually, usually starting like end of February, March.
Uh-huh.
That's
I
when-
don't think we ever get any Article 43 in the middle of winter time,
Yeah.
but you should be able to figure out that from
I would imagine early spring is a huge time.
March and April.
Yeah.
That's when everybody wants to get their,
Yeah,
stuff.
going.
And,
In the fall.
from there to, what's the, town meeting would be,
June.
oh, actually, you know what, I'm sorry.
Oh, do we have to do it in March?
We've been doing it early. We did it early this year.
Yeah.
Don't most charities, like a lot of businesses might start their fiscal year in January, where they would be asking for money that early, or no?
No, we
No,
couldn't. They'll have it the next January.
Okay,
We don't care when their fiscal year is, we only worry about ours.
Right.
okay.
So-
We couldn't do anything outside of it.
When does our fiscal year start here in town?
July 1st.
July.
Okay, but I've been talking about town meeting and stuff, I forgot we did ours,
Early.
Yeah,
Right.
March.
I think it was March, yeah. So you probably won't have to allocate a lot, but, we still have some time here, people working on the road, so I believe it'll be shortly anyways.
So does that mean we need to do this by March or June?
No, you, if we're gonna.
Not
start
yes,
the
no,
town
I'm
meeting-
talking about
This,
the new program.
I would say March.
So be prepared for
I
March.
mean, you want time to tweak the budget before July 1 hits.
So, well, how
Gotta
good
get it.
No, because the meeting is, the town meeting.
Town meeting
It's
is.
March.
Is before.
Yeah.
It
So-
wasn't March, was it? Was it
Was
that?
it March or April? I'm trying to remember.
It might have been April.
I don't
Okay.
know.
I should know this, I feel really dumb when I'm on TV, I helped set the date, I can't remember, but it was a long
It was
day.
earlier than usual.
But we,
Yeah.
because town meeting coming, and these lake associations have get on board and start asking for these charities, okay, we'd have to get this rolling.
Yeah.
And we got budget season coming, we got time, obviously, we start our budget season, I think it'll probably be December. I believe we moved it up to December, we usually start in February.
What,
Okay.
I have a question. When was the $50,000 first allocated? Years ago?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
So if we have that special meeting coming up, and you know you've got to make it till July 1 before you're going to get any more money, then what would you
So we're gonna
ask for 20,000 to carry you?
We're gonna look at what our average was in that time span.
Okay.
and then,
Or are we gonna just maybe get this lake association thing with the guidelines firmed up by that time, and, but they
No,
can't,
it's
they
still-
can't ask for the money until,
yeah.
Not in the short
So
term.
this
We got a special town meeting come up here shortly, very shortly, meaning like
So if we could get,
maybe less than a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we need, you guys are, what you should do is probably schedule yourself a meeting like shortly. Okay, so that you can so you can recommend an amount to us.
Okay,
when is the special town meeting, what day?
We haven't set the date yet, but it's coming up. We wanna move on this,
so it'll be October?
we believe so, I believe so.
Okay.
Don't
so,
take my word for it, but I believe so. Be sometime.
we
in
just work
October.
along tonight and figure it out?
Yeah, we could come up.
You might wanna do that, if you could
Work
do that
along
tonight,
tonight
that
and
would be
figure it
great.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, make it happen,
okay, so, we just make it-
because that would,
What's the, special town meeting
then we're
for?
ahead of the game.
We're purchasing a, new
Skid steer?
new skid steer for the transfer station. We had some major mechanical issues with the old one, and, we figured it was time for a new one.
I know where there's a bunch ready for sale.
Yeah, well, your company bid on one, they were the highest bid. Like a lot. We've chosen the one to go with, but obviously, we gotta vote it for the funds. So, that, we have possibly, we may have another warrant article that we're working on. I'm not gonna discuss that one tonight, but a couple other ones.
Earlier in the year, we talked, or we voted on, some changes at the transfer station.
Does it got to do with roads, Bill? Does it got to do with roads?
I thought, well, no, I guess, no, it doesn't.
We'll talk about it later outside.
So, these two that are pending now,
Yep.
if we went half, it would be 2,200.
22, 25.
Yeah. Is there, do we want to think about anything going back, or?
No, I think right now, we'll figure zero out from here on out.
Okay,
That would be the easiest thing to do.
yeah.
If they're doing,
It'd
if
be-
your meeting's
it-
coming up,
It'd be $800 to them.
Yeah.
So the lakeside I see here after we talked about it, there was the, bid in there for the work was $4,630.
Yeah, we just did 3,000.
They
They own the rest.
okay.
And so we don't really care, you know, how big that number is. It doesn't.
It could be $50,000.
Doesn't change what they're gonna get from us, from the
Right.
town.
So it'd be
Um,
22,
So I'd say like 9,000.
oh, you mean to get to
So
us?
9,000 will get you 3 roads. That's a max out.
You mean
But
to
in
the
the
end?
last 4 years, there's
Yes.
only been 3 each year, with the exception of '22, which there were 0 applications.
Okay.
And that includes the 2 that we just got, we made 3 for this year.
We could just say $8,000 and, do the same thing we're doing right now. It doesn't have to be a maximum of 3,000,
Well,
But if you do the
I'd
9,000,
rather,
do the 9.
I'd rather see the 9 and the 3.
Okay, that was like, I was trying to cut taxes here, $1,000 is $1,000, right?
You guys are gonna do what you have to do. So,
No. You make the recommendation, you vote on it, and, we just gotta,
And then you decide
we'll decide,
up or down, or,
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just one guy, I can show up at the meeting and they can say, we're not gonna put it on.
yep.
Right.
So, but I believe they will.
So, entertain a motion to, request $9,000 for the continuation of Article 43, into, June 2025 of $9,000.
Second.
Any questions?
Actually, be July 1st,
Okay,
July 1st.
July 1st.
July 1st.
because we vote on in April a new budget, but it doesn't come into effect till July
Yep.
1st.
All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Unanimous? Thank you. Do we have to do that written, or you're good?
Just send in your minutes or whatever to Jennifer, okay? And she'll propose it to us at the meeting,
Okay,
or I will, one or the other. But it'd probably be better to send an email saying this is what the da-da-da-da
okay.
When's your next meeting?
tomorrow
Oh,
at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Yeah, because I just quickly did the math, and I think 2020 was the only year it was 13,000, around 13,000 spent. That was the highest.
Well, I think a lot of it too is when we first started allocating the funds, it would just okay them, send them out, and then when they started learning that we had to do this, this and that, then we started really checking on them, and then people said, oh, okay, well, we don't really qualify, so that's why they slowed down there for a while.
Oh, okay.
We wanted to be legit.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got anything else on your agenda?
No, do you need me tomorrow?
What's that?
Do I come to the meeting tomorrow?
No, I mean, if you send me an email, send it to Jennifer, and she'll put it on the agenda, okay, and we'll discuss it.
Okay,
And so I think we'll be good.
Great.
Now, you guys obviously gonna continue working with the Lake Association.
Yes.
I would be very diligent. and
to
move
do
on.
it, right, we understand
That
we
way
need
we
it by
can-
March, and
You
so,
know, we've got warrant articles we'll have to start writing at some point, time's
Yep.
flying by.
yep, okay, thank you.
I had a couple questions for you after, if you can wait.
any-
Oh, I can wait, yeah.
Couple minutes.
So, we don't have to meet for this anymore, because we'll make the recommendation for 9,000. But we do have to meet about the lake associations.
Sure.
Do you want to try for next month,
Yeah, whatever.
around the same time? It's Tuesdays. Okay.
Can we make it any later?
Yes. Yes, I'm sorry.
And I'm gonna say, I left with anticipation of an hour to get here. And for some reason, usually I leave my work at 5:15-ish. Today I left at about 4:35, and it was the worst traffic I ever saw on the turnpike going south. And 111 was bumper to bumper from the toll booth, getting off the turnpike, all the way up to where 111 merges to one lane. There's like 2 lanes there, and it merges to one. And there was a stalled car, and people just couldn't handle, people just don't know how to merge. But anyway, if we can make it later,
What time?
I mean, 6:30 is what works for me. I know that's later, but the other meetings we did was 6:30, so if you can,
Okay, 6:30.
I mean,
Is
otherwise,
Tuesday the best day for people, or?
I'm pretty busy at work. It's hard for me to ask for time off.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't.
I mean, I can, but
No, you shouldn't, we'll,
but the drive is also
Is it okay with
worse.
you, or- Okay,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Leaving early, it was worse. I would have to leave 2 hours early.
Yep.
You know,
Sure.
that's why I was late. I
Yep.
apologize.
so we can do it 6:30. I don't, you can't do Wednesdays.
I mean, Thursdays were working good for me, so.
Thursday, okay, so I can look at either Thursday or Tuesday, depending on whether there's another meeting scheduled.
Sure. I mean, Thursday would probably work better for me too, but
Okay, so I'll ask
either
for
one is
We'll
fine.
look at Thursday first. And that would be
It's October.
22nd, the week of the 21st, so 24th, which is Thursday. And if that doesn't work, we'll go back to Tuesday.
Okay.
Or they both might be full, I don't know, but we'll look at the 24th first.
Just send me a reminder like the
Yeah.
day before.
Sure, yep, I will do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other business? Thank you.